Welcome, the Fantasy Goons podcast. Skip the bull and find out the info you need to win your league with Bobby, Davey, and Brandon.
Ride or die. Cody's brothers, my guys. Know that we fly. Know that they ride or die. I keep well on my side. CJ Ack. Now I gotta ride or die.
Welcome into the Fantasy Goons podcast, a part of the Pucks Out family. I'm Brandon, and I'm here alone due to the snow. I am been soloing it lately. Happy to be here, missing Davey and Bob for a little banter, but I'm gonna have a cold beer and go over some stuff, and you guys will get the information you need to be a champion. So we're going to move into the starting where we usually start, the weekly impressions. Now I have everybody's information today, so I'm going to be covering it and going over everybody's info. Weekly impressions for Bobby. Canadian division is killing it. You got that right, Bob. If you got a majority of the players there, then you're lucky, as Bobby puts it. There's so many goals, but I think what I want to add to that there seems to be a lot less postponements up in the Great White North due to COVID issues. I'm jealous of how they're able to handle the snow a lot better than we are down south. So yeah, that's obviously really accurate, and they've got a lot of great teams up there, and even the teams that are not as great are showing out a little bit. Davey, weekly impression, the postponed games are getting obnoxious, and they're making it very, very difficult to keep a sustainable lineup. And he says, we feel your pain. I definitely do. There's only been, I think, one of my leagues that I'm not getting murdered by these postponed games. It's going to be tough. And we talked about, oh yeah, we'll get the games later on. It's getting harder and harder to keep guys around. I mean, Dallas had some more postponements. You know, it is a tough way to have to deal week to week on a week that, I mean, you got 4 or 5 ads, you're going to get killed. I mean, the postponed games are destroying leagues week to week. So it will be very interesting towards the end, because if you have a bunch of players that all of a sudden have games at the end of the season, that's not really going to matter, because you're only going to be able to play a select few amount of players. The Stars have slowed way down. They were hot start, and I don't know if that was just because they were playing the Predators, who are not looking hot lately. But the Panthers also still looking great, leading the Central Division as we record this, or as I record this, I should say. That is surprising. Davey and I talked about the Panthers last week, and they're just still hot, man. They had a good week last week, but I'm just surprised that the Stars have slowed down so much personally. Let's move into the stream of the week, taking teams that we're going to be looking to stream this week. Bobby has the Coyotes. They got 2 games against the Ducks, 3 against the Avs, pending no postponement. And I'm not sure if that's correct. I'm going to check the schedule. No, that is not correct from Bob. They have 2 games all week. So, you should have put a better team on here, Bobby, and I wouldn't have to own you like that. Or at least that's what I'm seeing on my schedule. I'm seeing those 2 games. Maybe those Avs games or makeup games or something along those lines. Let me check the NHL app, because this may be utilizing old information. No, I am incorrect. I've made a fool of myself, and I am here to defend myself. It does look like there's some makeup games on the schedule. So my weekly game website is probably just not keeping track week to week of that. So I mean, that could be a really good team to stream right now. He doesn't have anybody specific, but they're going to need to play fast against these teams. They're going to need to score a lot. There's probably several available Coyotes in your league that you can go and pick up. Davey back on the Panthers, and not a bad choice at all, considering what we talked about. They're playing great hockey right now, competing in possibly the toughest division. I'm not so sure about if I agree with Davey's sentiment there, but 3 games against the Stars, 1 against Carolina. As I said, the Stars were struggling prior to their winter weather postponements. He expects 3 fun games set, should see some scoring. They'll have to put up numerous points against a tough Carolina team, and I agree with that. I'm going with the New York Islanders. They have a good-looking schedule this coming up week, playing 2 games against the Caps, two against Philly, who's been struggling with some COVID positive tests and guys out due to COVID. They're going to need they've been playing well lately. They're going to need to step up their game against these 4 teams. But playing these teams, there's definitely going to be some scoring. So they may not come out on top as winners in any of these games. Yeah, they're going to be needing to show up. And so hopefully you should be able to find some good teams or good players to stream in from those teams with their available games. I'm looking forward to seeing who you can grab that's available there. Peugeot's available in some leagues. That's someone I would look at for sure. I'm warm on them right now for sure. Now to go to some pickups that you could be looking at with the percentage they're rostered. Bobby has Joe Thornton here. Leafs are scoring at will. He's playing on the top line. Take advantage before he breaks a hip. 69% available. Nice. Yeah, I agree. I don't know that is something that I don't know if he's low enough rostered to come on this pickup zone. I mean, 31% of teams is not too much, but playing on the Leafs top line right now is a great thing that you could take advantage of. And with the Leafs being hot, I'm not disagreeing that could be a good pickup. I just don't know that it would be a ton of teams or a ton of leagues that he's going to be available in anyway. I have a weird pick here. Josh Norris, a center for Ottawa. He's only 7% rostered. Over the last few games, his time on ice is up. He's averaging about 16 to 17 minutes a game time on ice. 5 to 9 face-off wins per game. He has 10 points this season, 3 goals, 7 assists. He's going to be good for a few hits and some shots on goal. He has 4 games this upcoming week that could be used to your advantage for sure. And the teams that they're playing, they're going to need to put up some points. Not that Ottawa has been able to do a lot of that, but that being said, you need some opportunity to stream some guys in. Ottawa could be a good choice because there will be a lot of availability, and they have some off night games as well. A Tuesday game, and then a Tuesday, a Wednesday, a Friday, and a Saturday game. So not too many off nights, not as many as I thought that there were, but could be a good opportunity, especially with all these postponements. He's not going to be heavily rostered. It's something that I would look at. Now, I love Davies' pick. I mean, right off the bat, Pius Suter. I don't know if I'm saying his name right. Pius? It's Pius Suter. He has all 3 forward positional availability, center, left wing, right wing capabilities. 6 goals, 4 assists this year. Quick, shoots the puck a lot. Only 17% owned. Could be a great streaming option. He's been playing on the first line with Patrick Kane and Alex DeBrincat. The number 2 team in the Central right now. That is definitely a great option, and I'm jealous that I have to talk up his pick so much. But I'm I mean, that could be a long-term ad as well, not just necessarily a stream for this week. Jealous of your pick, Davey. I'm sure you probably have him already in our leagues, but I'm going to be looking after this podcast to see if I can snatch him up. Now let's go ahead and move to the winners and losers, or our tail and fade section. Bob has the Leafs. Not a bad choice. Almost easy pickings. They're looking really hot right now. He expects them to continue for another 2 weeks or so, as long as they're healthy. Pick up the Leafs players before they turn into classic Leafs who choke. Muzzin, who has been quiet lately, Bob expects a small improvement there. I can't say that I disagree with his choice there. The Leafs are, and going up to the Canadian division, it's never a bad thing to snatch up anybody that's available there. His team, that his streaming option that he gave, Joe Thornton, obviously someone you can potentially go pick up if available in your league. Davey has the Boston Bruins this week. As he states it, they're a tough team to beat right now. Having no problems against potentially the sneaky division mate of the Flyers, Islanders, Capitals, or Penguins. They're winning, typically putting up multiple points on the board and showing no signs of slowing down. Yeah, I don't know when Pasta's slated to return, but that is going to be an added force to an already great team that is showing out, that a lot of folks thought would slow down this year. It doesn't look like that's the case whatsoever. I have the Colorado Avalanche getting Landeskog back. They have a nice week upcoming against some teams that they should be able to win. The Coyotes, they should put up some points against them for sure. A couple games against the Ducks, and it looks like also a couple games against the Sharks. That's something that you're going to want to pull the trigger on for sure, in my opinion. If you can find one of those sleeper guys on the squad, I'm going and trying to grab those Avalanche. They really need to step up their game in my mind, as a team that was coming in as the favorite to win the Stanley Cup, at least as far as odds go. I don't necessarily think that they were the outright favorites, but I most certainly think that they can go win the cup this year. They're going to have to get their big players to step up. So great choice in my mind. But Bobby's Leafs and Davies Boston Bruins, also both great choices. Losers who we're going to be fading this week. I have the St. Louis Blues. Only a couple games this week. Now, one is against the Kings, one is against the Sharks, so those could be high-scoring affairs on their end. But I mean, that is not great to have your team only have 2 games, at least from a fantasy perspective, and they're both heavy game days, being a Wednesday and a Saturday. Now, they could absolutely have light game days, considering postponements are always an option at this point in time. But it's a team that I'm looking to fade this week for sure. Davey has the Vancouver Canucks. Thrilled about the potentially star goaltending tandem of Holtby and Demko, but they have both struggled mightily this season so far. Sitting second to last in the Scotia North Division, terrible Ottawa Senators below them is the only team. Go look at the players plus minus. It's rough. I mean, Davey has said it so eloquently that a plus minus is not always a stat you want to look at. And obviously unless your league plays with it, but in terms when it comes to fantasy anyways, but in terms of really looking at the whole team, if you got a lot of players in the negative, that's tough. That's going to be tough for you to win. And I mean, fantasy options right now, they're not looking great. I mean, Pettersson was one of my favorite players coming in to this season, and the team, it's just not doing it right now. they're really going to have to step up if they want to make a run in the playoffs like they did last year. Bobby has the American teams. Postponed games are going to continue to happen, and if they try to squeeze them all into a tight window later in the season, that's great. You may win a week, but you're dropping multiple weeks because of this. This is extremely tough. You hope that we don't get into a situation that we got last year where they're canceling the whole season. And I mean, as dope as those playoffs were, I mean, it's tough. This is extremely hard. It's hard to kind of tell where teams are because of the disparity in games played. I'm with Bobby there. The Canadian teams are looking strong. They're continuing to not necessarily 100% avoid the postponements, but it seems to be avoiding the postponements a little bit better than the American teams are by nature of the situation of COVID here in the country. Great information from these two guys. Obviously, I'm not able to get in all of their opinions on it because it's only what we have on our show doc here. But I hope I covered kind of what you guys were thinking about. I'm looking forward to next week when we are hopefully all able to hang out and have a fantasy show that we haven't been able to have in a while. A full-fledged fantasy show. Really appreciate you guys listening. I'm excited to, I guess, continue this season. I'm as far as my teams, I'm really only having an okay season in one league right now. I'm getting beat up by these game postponements, as I'm sure a lot of you are. Some of us are luckier than others. One league I'm fairly lucky. The others I am not so lucky. So if you are having those problems, I feel for you. Hopefully this show will give you a little bit of information to maybe push through and just, hey, it's all about making the playoffs, right? It doesn't matter what seed you're in the playoffs. If you make it, everybody has a chance to win that championship. So on that note, have a good one, guys. Hopefully everybody made it safe through the massive snowstorm we had here in the American South. If you're listening elsewhere, hopefully you were all safe. If you had weather, if you did not, you're lucky. I've been trapped in the house. Not that I wasn't already, but it's something about not being able to physically leave is disturbing to me. It just hurts my soul. So on that note, see you guys later.
This has been the Fantasy Goons podcast, brought to you by Standing Stone Farms. Listen to the boys every week and join in on the conversation on the three majors of social media.
Peace.